So I was actually looking at some data from Ellen Deemer's honors thesis at the College of St. Benedict. And it's fascinating because she literally analyzed the actual text message content of couples. And what she found is this massive, massive linguistic split. Women, by a mile, include a greater number of grooming statements and questions in their text messages. Grooming meaning, relationship maintenance, checking in, building warmth. Whereas men are almost exclusively using what she calls coordination statements. It's purely scheduling, it's logistics. It's basically pick up milk or I'll be there at 6.
Oh, absolutely. It's like women are out here writing handwritten letters on vintage stationery, and men are sending Slack updates. It's wild because a woman will send this beautiful, warm, emotional bid, something like, thinking of you, hope your day is going well, just a little kiss of energy. And she gets back 2 words, good, working. Instantly, the anxiety engine starts. She's looking at those 2 words like they're a crime scene. Like, what does the period after working mean? Is he dying? Does he hate me? Is there someone else? Why are you guys like this? Seriously, why do men treat a partner's emotional bid like a calendar task?
Because they're lazy, Erica. Let's just call it what it is. It's lazy. They want the benefits of a relationship without the actual effort of typing out a full sentence. It's bullshit.
Well, hold on. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily laziness. Let's look at the psychology. Men operate heavily on what we call task-oriented cognitive processing. When a man is working, his brain is compartmentalized. The text comes in, and he doesn't see it as an invitation to have an emotional moment. He sees it as a query. How was your day? Query received. Status. Good. Current activity. Working. He thinks he answered the question. He actually thinks he did a good job because he responded quickly.
Oh, bless his heart. He thinks he did a good job. Wait a minute. A query? Are you dating a database or a human being? No, because what are we really saying here? If I tell you I'm having a massive crisis, or I share this huge, vulnerable, multi-paragraph text about my career anxiety, like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, I feel so lost, and you reply with a thumbs up emoji, a single yellow digital thumbs up, that is not task-oriented processing, Dr. Lee. That is a crime against humanity.
It's a slap in the face. If I send you my soul and you send me a cartoon thumb, we're done. I'm blocking the number. I don't have the energy for that shit anymore.
And that is a completely fair emotional reaction. But think about the disconnect there. To the man, that thumbs up means, I have read this, I acknowledge it, and I support you. He doesn't realize that in the linguistic translation, a thumbs up to a vulnerable message feels like, cool story, bro, please stop talking. It's an efficiency model versus a connection model. But when you apply an efficiency model to an emotional connection, it absolutely looks like emotional laziness.
It doesn't just look like it, it is. It's the absolute lowest common denominator of communication.
But it goes even deeper than just the words themselves. It's the actual structure of how we write. If you look at Robin Lakoff's deficit theory, and there was a UCLA study on gendered texting that backed this up, women use significantly more tentative language. They use hedge words, things like just, maybe, I think, sort of. They use emoticons, exclamation marks, repeated letters like so, all to soften the delivery. They're constantly editing to make sure they don't sound too aggressive.
The emotional editing is exhausting. Hey, just wanted to see if maybe, if you're not too busy, we could possibly get food. No worries if not. Smile emoji, sparkle emoji. It's like we have to dress up our texts in a tutu just so they don't look scary. And then you get a text from a guy that says, I'm fine. Period. Full stop. It feels like an emotional eviction notice. Like, oh, okay, I'll pack my bags and leave the relationship now.
Exactly. A period at the end of I'm fine is basically a threat. It's cold. It's like they're trying to punish you without actually having the balls to say why they're mad.
But see, this is where we project. To a man, a period it's just punctuation. It's how a sentence ends. He learned in third grade that sentences end with periods, so he put one there. There is no subtext. There is no hidden anger. But because women spend so much energy on emotional editing, 5 minutes curating a text to make sure it's warm and non-threatening, they project that same level of intentionality onto the man's dry text. They assume if he didn't include an exclamation mark, he must be furious.
Okay, but wait a minute. You cannot tell me understood with a period doesn't have a hostile energy. That is business meeting energy. That is your contract has been terminated energy. If I'm dating you, I don't want to feel like I'm communicating with my landlord. It lacks the relational warmth that makes a woman feel safe. You don't need five sparkles, but maybe a single emoji, a smiley face, something to show there's a heartbeat on the other end of the line.
But why is the default safety tied to emoticons? Men often prefer plain, unembellished language because to them, it's clear. It's unambiguous. When we demand that men use these highly curated, emoji-filled, softened language patterns, aren't we just asking them to adopt a female style of communication, rather than accepting that their style is just different?
No, we're asking them to care. If you know that a dry text makes your partner feel insecure and you keep doing it because that's just your style, you're not being different. You're just being an asshole.
Let's look at the actual relational impact of this, though, because there's a really important study from 2014 by Luo and Du. They looked at 395 participants, and they studied what they called texting share. This is the percentage of total relationship communication that happens over text versus face-to-face or voice calls. And the findings were stark. Texting share showed positive links with both attachment dimensions, meaning anxious and avoidant attachment, and a negative link with relationship satisfaction. It didn't matter how many texts they were sending overall. If the share of texting was high, satisfaction was low.
Yes, because high texting share is a playground for avoidance. It is their favorite toy. They can use asynchronous texting to control the emotional distance perfectly. They can read your message, wait 3 hours, craft a perfectly detached response, and completely avoid the messiness of real time emotional presence. It keeps the relationship in this perpetual holding pattern, while the anxious partner is just vibrating with hypervigilance, waiting for the phone to light up.
And the worst part is, you think you're close because you're texting all day. You're getting these little hits of dopamine. Good morning, what are you doing, good night. It's a fake intimacy. It's a joke.
You're both hitting on something huge here. It's the texting illusion. Because you're in constant contact, you feel like you have this deep, ongoing connection. But it's low effort. It's easy. It actually prevents the couple from building real-world momentum. It stops them from having the difficult face-to-face conversations because they're substituting actual intimacy with this curated, safe, digital version. I'll admit, even in my own life, I've caught myself doing this. If there's a complex, emotionally heavy topic, the temptation to just text about it is so strong. Because on a screen, I can edit my reactions. I can hide my immediate discomfort. But when I do that, I'm dodging the vulnerability that actually builds a relationship.
Wow, that is so real, Dr. Lee. Thank you for actually admitting that because that is exactly what it is. It's a shield. But when you hide behind that shield, you leave your partner out in the cold. You're basically saying, I want to connect with you, but only on my terms and only when I can control the script. That's not a relationship. That's a presentation.
And that control factor is why the silence becomes so toxic. When you communicate asynchronously, there's always a gap. And that gap is where the anxiety lives. There's actual science behind asynchronous communication anxiety. When we don't get an immediate response, our brains don't just sit there quietly. We start fabricating micro cues. We start doing what I call group chat forensic analysis, sending screenshots to 3 friends to decode why he used a lowercase y instead of an uppercase y.
Oh my God, the forensics. We are out here like CSI Relationship Edition. And those 3 dot bubbles, let's talk about the 3 dot bubble. That is an emotional stress test. You see the dots appear, then they disappear, then they appear again, then they're gone. Your heart rate is literally spiking. Your nervous system is in a fight or flight response. And meanwhile, what is he doing? He probably just got distracted by a shiny object or a work email.
Exactly. He started typing, then his boss walked in, or he lost signal, or he just decided he'd finish the thought later. To him, it's a completely neutral event. But to her, that disappearing bubble is a rejection. It's a micro cue of withdrawal.
And then you see the ultimate betrayal, the Instagram active now green dot. He hasn't replied to your text from 3 hours ago, but he's currently active on Instagram. He's liking memes. He's watching stories. That's not getting distracted, Dr. Lee. That is a deliberate choice to ignore you. It's disrespectful.
Wait, yes, the Instagram betrayal. No, because what are the rules here? If you have time to double tap a meme of a cat on a skateboard, you have time to text me back. Even just a, hey, super busy, talk tonight. But when you leave the text unread and play on social media, you are signaling that I am a low priority. You are compartmentalizing me into the too much work folder while you go get easy dopamine somewhere else.
But let's look at the compartmentalization. Men do tend to categorize texting as a task. Social media scrolling, on the other hand, is a brain-dead, zero-effort activity. He's not avoiding you specifically. He's avoiding the effort of a conversation. Now, is that a great way to treat your partner? No. But understanding that it's often a desire for cognitive rest rather than a targeted rejection can at least lower the temperature of the anxiety. So, how do we actually fix this? How do we break the texting illusion? We have to return texting to its proper place. Texting needs to go back to its coordination roots. Use it for logistics. Use it to say, I'm running 5 minutes late, or can you grab some ice? But the grooming, the relationship building, the emotional check-ins, move those back to real-time voice calls and face-to-face interactions. That is how we restore relationship satisfaction.
Yes, I have a challenge for every woman listening right now. Put down the phone. Stop decoding the dry texts. Stop sending multi-paragraph feelings into the void. If a man wants to connect with you, he will call you. He will make plans to see you. Stop measuring his interest by how fast he replies to a text and start measuring it solely by his real-world initiative and his voice presence. If he's not calling, he's not connecting.
And women are often afraid that if they set that boundary, if they say, I don't like texting about this, let's talk tonight, they'll drive the man away. But the truth is, healthy men actually respect boundaries and directness. It takes the guesswork out of it for them. A man who is genuinely invested in the connection will welcome the opportunity to hear your voice. A man who is just using you for low-effort digital entertainment, he'll drift away. And that's exactly what you want.
Good. Let 'em drift. We don't need more pen pals. We need grown-ass men who can show up.
Amen to that. It really makes you think, are we actually dating real complex people anymore? Or are we just dating our phone's curated, anxious interpretations of them? Let's put the screens away and go find out.
All right, good chatting today. Talk soon.